The Agentic Era. How do I manage 240 plus workflows? If you are just typing prompts into ChatGPT, you are essentially using the AI in a wrong way. You are using a Ferrari just to go to the groceries. You are missing the whole point about the Agentic AI. For the last year, I have been obsessed with my Asperger's, looking into this Agentic Era, setting up all these workflows, not only using the ChatGPT, but taking the outputs from it and automating it and building a digital workforce for myself. I currently have over 240 autonomous workflows running in the background for my life in N8N. In this video, I'm going to show you an overview of the system that I'm using to bridge the AI skills gap and how you can start building your own autonomous team for yourself. I created N8N in my own domain to be able to do this. So the N8N can be installed on your local. And as you see, I'm able to run 6,900 workflow executions, and all these hundreds of pages that I'm using the N8N different type of workflows. I control my home internet and I'm able to respond to job offers on Gmail, and I'm following up my invoices using the N8N. So there's always different use cases that is able to come into N8N system. One of the N8N workflows, you are going to see these N8N workflows have the things in detail, and I created them with a tool called MCP to be able to lay them out nicely and to be able to execute and run them practically and visually. So I am able to do the necessary actions in the background for myself. Right now, this is turning on the existing internet in my flat to make sure that I communicate with the router and send a Telegram message at the end. So this is an end-to-end workflow that I'm using. I should be able to go to Telegram and be able to see that I have just enabled and turned the internet on at the bottom, and I can also definitely turn it back off, and I'm able to do this with an automation with different timelines in the beginning and turning it off with a different timelines according to my kids, and getting a message on my mobile phone because my mobile has the internet connection even though the flat does not have the internet connection. So I'm able to handle specific workflows. On here in N8N, and you can also set a settings and be able to set a workflow, which I called it an error workflow, that you will be able to set the core, meaning if something fails, this is going to get triggered, and once this thing gets triggered, I will be able to see everything on N8N very easily. So you can have central workflows. I can write error and it is going to bring up the error core workflow, which it sends its messages all the time at the end to an N8N workflow. And for me to be able to build these workflows, what I use it is something called a MCP connection. What I will be able to do is I will be able to come into here and be able to right click and enable or disable the MCP access, such as this one, respond to job offers in Gmail is already written by MCP, so I already have the MCP access. But let's give MCP access, programmatic access to the error workflow core. Set this in an MCP way to be able to make sure that this is working the way that I want to be able to work. But I can't do this because it says the active workflows with only the triggers can get with the MCP. So I need to add a webhook workflow to be able to add this. For me to be able to do that, I will come here and add a webhook in the beginning, so my workflow can also start manually on here, and I will connect it to my initial node. I will save it. Then in here, I should be able to enable this with the MCP on here. Only the active workflows. This is my second blocker. I will come here and turn this to an active workflow. Then this time I should be able to come here and turn it with a available with MCP access. So this is going to help me to be able to write this workflow with the agentic purposes using my anti-gravity. The problem with the AI isn't just the technology. It is the gap, what the technology can do and what you can deliver. I realized this yesterday on a Sunday at 5 p.m. I realized all the shops were closed in the United Kingdom in Cambridge. I could not have just used a single prompt. I needed an agent to be able to collect from my data sources, understand I'm leaving the flat, and I understand I'm going to the grocery shop at that timeline and be able to notify me on a custom channel. Ikigai was always about intersection between gamifying the things and building real-time in world of contracting. I don't want just a chatbot, a ChatGPT. I want to be able to have real-time answers like a tutor that answers you once you get a question. That is why I built this system in N8N to be able to notify me at real time and I have meaningful conversation. Instead of having just one channel in the past that I had, I'm right now starting Telegram channels for my finance agent, for my family agent, for my project agents. They all have their own dedicated spaces. It's called a bounded context. I make sure that I focus talking on finance in that channel only. In the Telegram channel, you see that there is the bot father, which is creating me these new channels. You can definitely come here and be able to create a new channel and you can add these new members into the channel. You can definitely have them coming in. And what you can do is you can definitely create a new channel for yourself and add the bot father in the beginning for yourself to make sure that this is working for you. So there's all these different bot fathers that is coming up. You might be able to add them on here. These are all the bot father actions that you will be able to see. What I do it is I mostly create the channel with ability not to add anyone in the beginning, but create directly on here. I will call it family agent. So I have the initial agent that is created for myself, which only specific family related actions on here. I can definitely do this for my finances as well. I will call it the finance agent. And I have created the finance agent for myself. So I have a family agent, finance agent. Having a one channel which you have everything on here is easier. Why? Because you are always able to send these messages on here in N8N, and you can also set a settings and be able to set a workflow, which I called it an error workflow, that you will be able to set at the core, meaning if something fails, this is going to get triggered, and once this thing gets triggered, I will be able to see everything on N8N very easily. So you can have central workflows. To keep this Telegram becoming a mess, I started to use Paramethod in my Obsidian. I created projects, areas, resources, and archives. I'm linking them directly to my Visual Studio Code projects and I'm pulling out my configuration. I use Gemini 2.5 and 3.0 on my CL. In the N8N, I'm sometimes using Claude O1 as a specialist if I hit the wall, if I can't sort out a problem. So you don't need a budget more than $20 to be able to do what I'm showing you here. Created GitHub repositories for these and I'm demonstrating them in Delivery Pilot to be able to do them. Not all of the GitHub repositories are public, such as if you see this Remotion one is public, but my Internet Access Manager is private, so you don't always have to create a public repository. Some of them is going to be private. So this one is private. What I have in a private library, I'm turning on and off the internet. I have the similar structure that I mentioned in the Delivery Pilot program that you can come in and use, which starts from the unknown, which I have a problem that I'm going to solve. I will use an N8N environment. I will simulate this for you guys to be able to go ahead and execute. You are going to see all your prompts on the formulas and the code pieces in the symbols, all the errors coming into semblance, and all the testing reaching the known world will go into the testing folder on here you are going to see. If we go deep dive into the symbols, you are going to see that I have placed all of my workflow on here into the backup folder, meaning every time N8N is backing up, it is going to back up on here with my workflow coming from my CLI or from my anti-gravity. I will definitely put them into a backup folder, so it is not only living in my N8N. And I have all these scripts that are running from my MCP tools to be able to do what I need to do to be able to update my workflow. So I'm not doing them manually. The anti-gravity is writing this Python file to be able to update when I'm telling it to update my workflow. So to be able to reach this number of workflows in your system, you want to make sure what you have is written by the MCP and you have enabled the MCP access for these workflows. Everything that I created on video production is going to come up in here in my Obsidian, which I will be able to git commit and be able to save it as well. And I have special cleanup processes in the background, which I have projects, areas, everything that's conflicting, everything that has a deadline, and every constraint that I have will come up onto Obsidian for myself. If you are interested, definitely go to the second brain simulation that I have created. This is a complex graph that you will be able to see all the relationships with everything that I have in a much more meaningful way, and it is going to showcase to you that this is a complex system in the background with all of my nodes linked to each other in order to be able to make sense of what I'm doing on a daily basis. I will be able to go in and be able to update this. This is at the core of my system for a second brain to be able to run the workflows that I need to run. Everything that I document will come on to here and I will be able to showcase it to you guys and to do my daily work. So this is an all-in integrated system to be able to do this. If I say directly on here to the para method, I will be able to go in to that para method like this, create a new thread, and I will be able to go to Tiago Forte directly on here. And this is going to outline the existing relationships that I already have with the Tiago Forte. I can hit the control method and be able to also see what is inside this node that I have already created, or come into here using it to organize my nodes, and I will be able to hit the agent to be able to trigger inside. Para stands for projects, areas, resources, and archives, meaning all these agents are working together and I will be able to use them in a hands-on way to be able to populate my Obsidian and be able to update everything into a Git-based system where I have everything in control to be able to manage my projects, areas, resources, and archives. Everything that I created on video production is going to come up in here in my Obsidian, which I will be able to git commit and be able to save it as well. And I have special cleanup processes in the background, which I have projects. I have even built Blacklist system custom databases with zero cost to ensure that these agents don't throw errors and they have a state before they are notifying me. They are intelligent not to do the things that I'm telling them to memorize. A complex system on here to be able to add and append all the rows on a sheet in a Google sheet that I have built to be able to have some state while I'm sending my daily emails. I will be able to come to Google Drive and I will be able to say Blacklist and go to that blacklisted email addresses. As you are going to see, there is lots of emails on here I have blacklisted, so I'm never going to send them an email because they are all blacklisted on here, which means I'm able to hold down the state in NA10 to be able to create smart workflows for myself to be able to trigger them on an ongoing basis. And from time to time, I'm using MCP to be able to fix those workflows. So I'm not actually writing a code. I'm understanding the code structure to be able to fix these workflows. Now I have seen the alternative, not just the ChatGPT, but a process runner in the background. In my work as a contractor, I sit in root cause analysis meetings where highly paid professionals are unable to come up with the solutions, but they are just staring into screens as they work in silos. Their agents are not deployed. They are just using ChatGPT. There is no background agent that is collecting the data. They have reasons, security, complexity, or being unable to transform. I believe the AI transformation happens from bottom up. It should not just come from top down. Don't expect that Microsoft is just gonna give you with a copilot button. You have to start this revolution from your side. That is why I deleted all my distractions, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, from my phone, and I focus on maybe just using Spotify to be able to score these videos. But other than that, I only have the Gemini, Claude, AI tools to be able to focus my energy. I'm creating delivery pilots for yourself to document the process so you can see them in the GitHub repositories and simulate. Go there, get the necessary hands-on so you don't lose the progress that I'm sharing with you right now. Whether you are looking for a career change or looking to close the skills gaps, the goal for you is to be ready. Go take your assessment, go to the simulations, see where you are in the AI transformation journey. Delivery Pilot is the part that you can start your assessment very easily by using the Start Your Journey button on here. It is going to give you the necessary assessment for you to be able to start. If you want to be able to go into all of the simulations, you can go to sign in and try a demo login. At the top, I have shared all the necessary hands-on simulations for you to be able to go. You will be able to go into any one of those simulations to be able to trigger your learning journey, to be able to see a video, and at the bottom of the video there's a process checklist that you should go through and submit your completion. I will collect the emails to make sure that I will give you a report in the background, and hopefully my business model is transforming your enterprise to make sure we do this transformation from bottom up and from top down at the same time. At the end of the day, AI isn't coming for your job. You have to make sure to be able to keep your job, you do the necessary changes and transformations in your life. So you learn how to manage all these workflows in the background so you don't feel overwhelmed. And just remember, it only starts with a single workflow, with a single prompt in the beginning. I started the deliverypilot.net to show you everything in the background as a real life example so you go through the simulations. I want to see you in a specific deep dive in one of those NA10 workflows, in the GitHub, in the comments, in the discussions. If you are specific in focusing solving your skills gap problem, please leave a comment down below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.